Hello and welcome to your weekly news and pre-order video covering all the new releases from Forge World and Games Workshop. Apologies that I didn't cover all of the pre-orders yesterday. I don't think I've addressed this yet on the channel, but you know, I think a week or two ago I hit 30,000 subscribers, which was amazing, so thank you for all of your continued support. If you haven't already subscribed, obviously this is the YouTube channel. You can donate on Patreon as well. I've got a little Patreon page which people ask me to create. And then you can also use the little affiliate link in the description and buy all of the new, Citadel contrast paints and save 20% off. Just use my link in the description and then basically telling Element Games that you found them through me, which is brilliant. Okay, let's go on over to the news and pre-orders and things. So there's been quite a few things going on, specifically all the contrast paints, but I didn't do the pre-order video last weekend. That was the 2nd of June. So since then there's been quite a lot of new news. Everything from meeting the range from the Citadel contrasts to Necromunda gang tactic cards, the origins of the World Eaters revealed, the ever-chosen the Global Warhammer painting competition, Battle Sister bulletin, which came out a couple of weeks ago, showcasing the amazing looking Adeptus Sororitas, the Retributors with this heavy bolter, and also the heavy flamer with the twin nozzles, in the design of Gothic braziers, which are incredible. And then you've got a, like a ammunition kind of cherub called an armorium cherub holding this, or taking this canister of Promethium to one of the sisters. Excellent looking models they're turning out to be. Little rumour engine, history of Citadel paint. That's quite an interesting read. Then there was a showcase of Benjamin Torres' Orc War, top 5 reasons to paint your models. So obviously gearing up for the contrast range. Turn signals on a Land Raider, Chaos and Conquest on your phone and tablet. Hunted Cow Studios and Tilting Point, their global launch of their game, revealed at the UK Games Expo. I think I put some pictures of these on my Instagram. You've got the Palatine Enforcers for Necromunda. I really like the look of them. Those helmets look very similar to the Primaris. Pretty cool. That looks like a couple of models that are, I say, replicated. Those two certainly are. And I think those two are, but with different weapon loadouts. Yeah, there you go, there's the Enforcer kit. Blood Bowl, we saw a look at the Wood Elves team, and then a look at Corvus Cabal. They workshop Chaos as a vast black feathered bird. And then Blackstone Fortress, there was a nice look at some new models, specifically these new Chaos Cultists. Really cool. They'll really go in well with any sort of Chaos army, and also you'll be able to get Escalation brings these 4 new Explorers and a Loyal Servitor, so these are pretty good. You get the Ministorum Crusader and the Primaris Psyker, and first time fans outside Germany and USA get these models, so yeah, really nice looking models then. Then there was a little look at the new contrast paints for pre-order. The Age of Sigmar Open Day tickets are now available, and there was a look at the Acastus Asterius rules. I've actually put the rules for this amazing Asterius Knight. It's closer to a Warhound Titan in size really, but yeah, you can view the rules here. It came out on pre-order on Friday. The weapons are pretty horrific. Conversion beam cannon is a 72-inch range. Strength 10, AP 1 weapon, and obviously, so the closer your enemy is, sort of the worse it gets in terms of that. You get a smaller blast template. It does have this Correctness mortar battery, which is a nice 60-inch range weapon. If we just click there, here are all the rules for the Knight, the super heavy walker. So you can look at those, and we'll look at the model in a moment. Warhammer Day is coming. That will be on June the 29th. So if you want to go down to your local Warhammer store, there'll be bits and pieces there. I think there's also a model as well that you can pick up. Yeah, you'll be able to get a specific model for that day, which would be nice. Warhammer Chaos Bane out now. I did get a review code to download it on Steam, but I haven't yet done that. I would like to at least have a go at it on the Xbox. If I can get a code that way, that would be nice. We'll have a little gaming video. Paint and Showcase of Abaddon, Armies in 1 week, Regimental Standard STC for Paint Rediscovered, Army Showcase, that was a nice Imperialis militia. The pre-order article for the Asterius, just some more pictures and then the rules again. White Dwarf preview June, yes, June White Dwarf is just around the corner. I'll probably receive it next week because if you didn't already know, Games Workshop changed the release dates of the White Dwarf to the middle of the month rather than at the very start of the month. So hopefully I'll get that, and as soon as I do get that, of course I'll do a video going through every single page of the magazine. Then there's a Grim Dark Corners, the Chrome Worlds, and then Spear of the Emperor now in hardback. So you get this book by Aaron Dembski Bowden, and you can order it in hardback. It was first released last year as a lavish limited edition box set with unique features, and now and that was late last year, so yeah, 6 months later you can now get it in a hardback book. It's pretty good. And then pre-order today, that was clearly, you know, yesterday we had all the Citadel colour contrast paints, which we'll have a look at in a moment. Let's stomp on over to Forge World and have a look at the pre-orders first of all. So here it is, here's the Acastus Asterius. It's interesting to note that of course they've obviously got you know, adverts for the Citadel colour contrast paints as well, and a little advert for this Lords of War Night Lance, which has a Porphyrion and a Trappus, and 2 other sort of Mechanic and Tagmata Knights. So if we just hit new and we go to pre-orders, it says there's 285 because, yeah, like Games Workshop, they've put all of the paints on there because you can buy the paints from Forge World's website. So if we just do high to low, we should get a look at the knight. So here's the Lords of War Night Lance. It's slightly odd that you don't get the Asterius because, you know, that kind of came out, but I'm thinking that you do save a little bit of money. I mean, I think the Porphyrion is 330 and I think the Atropus is 185, so that would be 500 and say 515 or so for 520, so for an extra 160 you're getting those 2 Mechanicum Knights, so you are saving a little bit. You know, they're only costing you £80 each, but then if we go back to the rest of them, you've got all of the new paints which are already temporarily out of stock, and the contrast paint collection, again, already out of stock. The layer paint collection you can still get, base paint collections out of stock. So, you know, they've had this since, well, clearly last month, but again, it's just interesting to note that these bundles are out of stock, but it looks like most of the individual paints are still in stock. If you wanted to pop in, I'm sure they're at your local store as well, but they're all up for pre-order today. But this is the real pre-order for Forge World this week, the Acastus Knight Asterius. I think the weapons do look massive. I'm wondering whether it would have looked better just having one of these, but have them quite large, one of these actual firing rods or whatever you want to call it, rather than having 2 on each. It would have been nice to see some kind of concept drawings with just one, but there you go. I mean, I think the normal conversion beamer on the Predator is just one of these coils, but you've got this Caractacus missile launcher. It does look really, really cool. You know, I really like the look of that, and the front sort of visor faceplate looks epic too. If we just do a 360, I think one of these looks better in person, but yeah, those weapons are definitely huge compared to you know, the last melter weapons or the melter lances on the Porphyrion. Interesting that the Volkites are aiming upwards as well, but size wise that's what it compares to a normal knight. It's a fair bit bigger. Yes, it's pretty much almost a Warhound Titan in height, but £330. Yeah, I'd love to get it, really would. Even though I don't have Mechanicum Army, you can get the rules here as well, so that's great, because I don't think you'll get them in with the set. It's really strange that they, you know, give you the instruction guide and things, but they don't bundle the rules in with the models usually. Anyway, let's have a look at the other things. So these are all the Citadel paints that are up for pre-order. I'll look at them a bit more in depth on the Games Workshop's website, but as you can see, you've got all of them there. Just a flash of colour on your screen right now. But yeah, so that's all that there is to pre-order on Forge World, just the paints, and then you know, the Acastus Asterius. Let's jump on over to Games Workshop and have a look at these. Lovely little advert here showing them all in this kind of wonderful graphics with the paint flowing behind them and loads of blobs of paint behind. They've done a really good job. I really like the look of it. Let's hit new and exclusive, and we go pre-orders. Again, there's almost 300 pre-orders, most pre-orders I've ever seen on their website, because of course it's you know, it's every single paint individually as well. So yeah, same as on Forge World, it replicates that in terms of the contrast paints. You know, the collection at least are all sold out. You've got the shade paint collection still there though. You've got that Spear of the Emperor book by Aaron Dembski-Bowden for £18 in hardback. I think that might be the new price now that they're going to be charging. It seems like it, you know, £18 for a hardback. With the Siege of Terror books being what, £20 I think in hardback. I think that's the route that they've been going down for quite a while. Anyway, these here, it was quite confusing because they're kind of like the same size picture. They're probably a little bit smaller than the paints, and I initially thought, oh, they're new paints, but no, they're sprays. They should have, like, well, squeezed them a little bit and made them a bit longer, so that they at least look like spray cans. These look like chubby kind of paint pots with a nozzle on the top. But anyway, and maybe if they had written spray like there next to the actual colour, but these are sprays. There's the Retributor Armour spray, and I can't praise that spray enough. I use that on all of my Custodes. Yes, it's pricey, but the gold you get from that is fantastic. Then you've got the Zandri Dust and the Mechanicus, the Macragge Blue, you know, you've got the Lead Belcher. So other than the £17 for the Retributor, all the others £11.75, except for the two base ones, which is the Chaos Black and the Corax White. They're still £10.40. Then you've got some air paints, and if you just click on like Achillean Green, click on that, you'll find out that that's a contrast. So yeah, these contrast paints, I think I read somewhere that they're like $6 or so American, so they're £4.75 each, which means they're pretty expensive, but they are 18 millilitres, so you do get a fair amount. I mean, if you just compare these 18 millilitres to, well, yeah, I mean, look at the technical paint there, which is the same size. It's 24 millimeters, so you get 6 millimeters more. But if you look at the normal air ones, they're 24. If we eventually go past these £4.75 ones to the normal paints, which should be coming up here, they're £3.70 for the metallic, and they're only 12mm. But it's now £2.75 for the like more technical ones, but they're basically £2.75 for the normal kind of paints now, and they're 12mm. So yes, you are getting 6mm more. So you know, if you halved that, and let's say it's £1, let's just say it's £1.09. Let's just say it's £1.40. You add that to it, that becomes £4.15 anyway. So it's not that much more, you know, adding that extra sort of 6mm if you look at it that way. However, of course, because they're contrast, you're going to be covering the whole model with them, but it will save you a step or two. What I really like about this new layout and the new focus on these contrast paints is if you click one, it gives you like a little guide at the bottom, which I don't think it ever did before. So you don't need to go and hunt for a guide. You can just click on the contrast paint and then click on the actual paint itself, and look, you can add each one to the basket if you really want. You know, you can click on all the layers to get that burnished gold kind of look, which is fantastic. And you can do that, you know, without going anywhere else. Look, if you want to go for a black like mine, I'd probably go for a neutral black. They're still really trying to push this dry dawnstone though. Maybe you dry brush it afterwards, but I think that's the next thing you need after this. Yes, it shows the paints and sort of what order to use them, but I think the next step would be, you know, another link next to it showing the steps, or even a link to their Warhammer community you know, painting guide for painting that colour. I think, you know, embedding those kind of links is, you know, is the next step, you know, to find examples of how to use these paints. Maybe it is planned, maybe that's the future thing for the painting range. That would be great if it is, because after that I don't know what else they can add to it. Anyway, I haven't pre-ordered any. I'll try and get a few if I can, but those of you that have used them, what do you think? Please do put it in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.